In order to keep it under 40 feet, we have to make it removable. In our case, we're going to make it or build it on a pivot. We had a bow thruster, and the boat was designed with that. That was the tube for the bow thruster.
Something that we are both really excited about is our new removable Mainsheet track system.
If you're new here, we are Jen and Pierre, and we're building a 37 feet expedition sailboat for the Arctic and the high latitude.
Welcome to Sailing While Driven. Good day, everyone. It's been a while since we gave you an update on our build. Construction has slowed down during winter because of the lower than average temperature. But winter is done, spring is here. We're fully committed to complete our exploration sailboat. Wild Raven is supposed to splash in October, so there is less than 7 months left before this happen. And now we thought that it was time to give you a proper update. We're going to start from the bow on the exterior going to the stern. And then from there, we're going to move inside and show you what we've done so far. So the bowsprit is done, just need a little bit of buffing where the welds are over here. It's going to be removable. As for the bobstay, we will use a 4-to-1 purchase, and it will be secure on a cleat, which we still need to weld on the bowsprit.
The bowsprit is kind of an extension of the boat. It's where the big sail, like in our case, the spinnaker, is going to be attached to. So in every marina, there's a kind of a bracket for paying by the foot. So anything below 40 feet is a standard price. So you're trying to keep our boat less than 40 feet. With this on board, it would be more than 41 foot, 41 and a half. So in order to keep it under 40 feet, we have to make it removable. In our case, we're going to make it or build it on a pivot to be able to go back and forth like so.
You can see there's a pin there. That pin will attach to this here. This are going to be stopping it from going up, and it's flush, so we touch the tube, so it's not going to move anywhere.
So Steve did all the mathematics for it, and our bowsprit has to be at least 42 inches from the pivot point, so from the front of the boat, the bow. And it has to be strong enough to resist the 1,500 pounds of side thrust. So we found that stainless steel tubing that is 3.5. It's called Schedule 40. So the walls are roughly a little bit more than 316 or around 316. It would be strong enough. The only one problem that we've got is the OD, the outside diameter of this pipe, is 3.5 inch. And our
Anchor fair lead.
Our anchor fair lead is 3 3/8. So we have to squeeze the pipe a little bit to bring it down to 3 3/8. I went to my friend at North Shore Propeller, Andy, and we started squishing the pipe. It went pretty good. The only problem is we didn't go far enough. So I have to make a little, like another 4 or 5 inches more to be able to squish it, making sure it fits nice and easy. So I asked friends of mine, again at Trademark, if I could borrow their end pump press. And I made a little personal press, I could say it. It's not all the best, but it does the job. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to squeeze the pipe a little bit more so it fits better. And then we're going to show you what else we're going to be doing to pivot the system.
There used to be a tube that was going from one side to the other one for the bow thruster. We decided to remove it, and we have a few images to show you.
We had a bow thruster, and the boat was designed with that. That was the tube for the bow thruster. Pretty heavy. The bow thruster itself is pretty heavy also. We decided to remove it because it's taking a lot of room, and because of the shape of the boat going into the ice, it would be banging on this side. Also, water in the tube, if it freezes, it's probably going to break the weld or even the fitting or start leaking. And this section is inside the boat. Even if there's a crash bulkhead over here that's going to be dry, we still don't want to have water in there. And the type of sailing we're doing is more of the open water. We can't afford to go to marinas very often, so bow thruster wouldn't be used sometimes for months at a time. The tube is 40 pounds. The bow thruster is 48 pounds. So together and that's without the power, the electricity, and all this stuff. So we're looking at another 100 pounds, very close to the front of the boat, the bow of the boat. I would rather have 25 feet of chain more than the bow thruster, to be honest. So cut the tube first. On both sides, it's removed. Now I made a plate, and we're gonna try to fit the plate in, weld it in place, and then on the inside I also have to put a brace across and a brace on top here, just want to make sure. Very small, 1 inch by 3/16 thick of a flat bar.
Okay, from the outside didn't really work well. So Pierre did spray from the inside after removing everything on the outside. So it did work, just needed to go from the inside out. The 3 dots, so those one are places that needs to be fixed. The railing have been installed all around, so we had an episode dedicated to that. I'm not going to talk about it longer, just to let you know that this is done also. Those 3 brackets, one in front of the mast and one on each side of the mast, will be used with the Tabernacle system to lower and raise the mast or to step the mast. Our mast is completed. It's been a while now. We're going to have it delivered in a couple of months or less once the shelter have been removed. And we will be making a video on this topic because there isn't much information out there on Tabernacle, especially for big boat. The deck organizer are in place, and since they are made in aluminum and the deck is in stainless, we need to add that layer of UHMW. We will have 6 clutches on the port side and 4 on the starboard side. For winches, we have the Anderson. Those one on the cockpit is going to be the 46, size 46, and these one are going to be size 50. The mounting pad are all done also. Something that we are both really excited about is our new removable Mainsheet track system. So this is done by Barton. We couldn't find any other company that was making it. So I don't know if there is another one out there, but that's the one we found. We need to give a big shout out to Dave Glenfield from Barton. which is based in the UK. He's the one that helped us get this lovely device. We're excited because like I said, it's removable. So whenever we stop, we're at anchor at a marina, or we're not under sail and we just want to have more space in the cockpit, either to work out, or do whatever we want, or a visit. We can enjoy the entire space. It's really easy to install and to remove. The box comes with all the information and parts. The beam can be cut with regular tools to your specific length. We'll make a video on the system later on, and once we start sailing, so you'll be able to really appreciate the whole system. One thing that we had to install was those mounting brackets. So you have one on either side, and that's what's going to hold the beam. There's a little piston there that actually hold the beam when it's installed, and that's also the release button. And because our cockpit is so wide, we needed to add the anchoring point, so a tether, and Pierre welded a D-ring to the cockpit floor or the cockpit sole. It's right in the middle. You can find all the specific and information on Barton Marine website. The tracks are available in 3 different sizes, and they can be used on all sailboat up to 46 feet. So thank you again to Barton Marine. Thank you, Dave, for your great help. And also thank you, Cam from Fog Marine, located here in Etobicoke, for actually doing the order and making sure that the part came here in Canada. The tiller is done, but it's not installed right now just because it's kind of in the way when we work. So that's why it's not there. The tiller is done with cedar, so all the core is cedar, and the exterior had been wrapped with carbon fiber. It was a learning curve, but at the end, I think it turned out right. We still have to finish just the handle. Good day, guys. Today's project, tiller.
Tiller, building a tiller. So we're going to the wood shed to get some wood. We're not sure what type we're gonna get because it's not that important. We're gonna wrap it with carbon. So I'm just gonna try to find the best wood, the cheapest wood, the lightest wood. That's the beginning of the tiller. It's all going to be cedar laminated, and then it's going to be covered again with carbon fiber. So for now, we're just making the shape. It's going to be 2 inches. This is roughly the drawing that we're going to be doing. So this, and we're going to have a big shaft on top of it, 2 by 2, and then we're going to shape it, and then we're going to wrap everything. Now we have to wait until tomorrow. I'm going to let this thing dry. Then I'm going to clean it, put it on the planer. I still have to remove 1/8 of an inch on each side where it sits in the saddle, the stainless steel saddle. So it's all stuff that has to be done prior to putting the carbon on. Voila! Yesterday we give a coat of epoxy on it just to make sure we seal the wood. So Today I just cough it up a little bit. We're going to clean it nice and clean. I'm going to let it dry, and after that we're going to start cutting the material that we need to wrap it, and that's going to be the trial for the day, because I've never done that before on carbon fiber. I just listened to what Paul said at Noah, and hopefully I'm going to be doing a good job. So now, acetone. So that part is done. Now we're gonna let it, make sure it's all nice and dry. I'm gonna start cutting the epoxy. No, not the epoxy, the carbon.
Yeah.
So Steve gave us a layout of how it should be done. We're gonna follow most of it, but it's gonna be different from what he said, what he asked us to do, because we couldn't find the material that we're looking for. And Paul at Noah show us something different here. It's a carbon fiber, but is as a tube, and it's a little thicker too. It's like a sleeve. It would normally fit inside the handle, but at first we're not going to use this section. We're only going to use the patch from the side, and then at the end we're going to cover everything, just to slide everything in. So it's going to be a couple of coat.
That sleeve is 9 ounces.
Yeah, now 9 ounces. According to the drawing, we're gonna do it in multiple coat. So the first one would be somewhere like this here. So more or less, I'll do something like that. So I'm gonna cut this, split it in half, and put it aside, and we're gonna stack them. So one side, and then we do the other side, then we do the bottom part and the back part, and then we'll do another full layer. I got 15 feet of this stuff, so I should have enough to do the entire tailor. But if it doesn't, well, just have to go back and buy some more.
We won't be able to show you all the process for the tiller. Unfortunately, we had a few technical issues with the camera, and also Pierre had a few issues while applying the carbon fiber. So maybe it was a sign, maybe not, but Pierre is still not quite happy with his result or his carbon fiber work. Once it's ready, finish, we're going to show you the tiller. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, there's still the handle to do and maybe some buffing here and there just to make it really nice and shiny and also protect it against UV. Once the tiller is done, we're definitely going to show you the result.
Another project, this is the support that's going on which we're going to attach the bracket for the Hydrovane. It's a little bit beefy, but it's required in order to be able to sustain the force and also the weight of the Hydrovane. The sugar scoop is done also. We have access hatch like those that's going to be installed here, 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 and here.
The cockpit sole was elongated. This makes some room to store items under the step, and also it makes it much easier to get in and out.
If you haven't seen the video about our companionway, you should check it out. The companionway right now have been removed, so it's removable, and yet it's watertight. So if you have missed it, I'm going to put the link in the description below. There's not much left to do on the outside. The only few things left is to add clutches on the cockpit combing, so on either side, and also we have to run a line, the adjuster, in the inner forestay adjuster line. We need to run it back here in the cockpit, so we just need to add something on the deck so it's not in the way, so we keep it clean. And we need to put some hole also in the tow rail. Now let's move inside.
This looked like an elephant trunk, but it's the channel for the anchor chain. We made a barrel, so one of those barrels we used during a canoe trip. We tried it, the chain kind of fit in it, but we're not sure yet if we're going to use that. Might be something else that we use. In any case, we didn't want it to keep the chain in the front there. We wanted to bring the weight as far back. The other thing that was done is Pierre did install some kind of ladder. It's going to be easier to go up and down from the hatch. And he also adds some rail or railing so we can hang blinds or whatever. The whole space there is going to be worked on mainly during winter. So we're going to figure out what we want to store, how we want to store it. So we might have shelf in the front or maybe not. So that's something we need to figure out. So what's coming next, maybe in a week or so, and once the temperature is high enough, is we're going to use the laser machine to remove all the rust on the hull. And after that, or following that removal, we're going to start painting. So we're going to start from the bow, going towards the stern. So that's it for now. Hoping you did enjoy the update. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you can follow our adventure. And soon we're going to show you how wintering in Canada will be living aboard our sailboat. Cheers!